Lu Jinian thought about it, and slowly got up from his seat. As more guests arrived, the two of them walked hand in hand, like a loving married couple, all the way to the sofa in the corner. After they sat down, Lu Jinian closed his eyes to regain his composure, but he never let go of Qiao Anhao's hand. Qiao Anhao, on the contrary, only stared blankly at Lu Jinian's face, completely forgetting that he was holding her hand. Right then, he suddenly got up and dragged her arm up with him, instantly snapped her out of her daydream. She blinked with some incomprehension in her eyes. But as Lu Jinian seemed to emit an air of annoyance, she stood up from the sofa and opened her mouth. Lu. After she let out just a syllable, she saw other people walk by and immediately changed her words. Brother Jiamu, what's wrong? Qiao Anhao's single word, Lu. She hadn't finished speaking the name when the party started getting rowdy, so Lu Jinian only heard what she said after that. Brother Jiamu. He silently pursed his lips and abruptly loosened his grip on Qiao Anhao's hand. Then he turned to leave. Qiao Anhao hurriedly chased after him. Where are you going? Lu Jinian walked quickly. Wearing very tall high heels, Qiao Anhao worked hard to catch up to him. When she managed to grab onto his wrist with great difficulty, he didn't even turn his head. He just brushed her hand away and went into a restroom. The restroom door slammed shut in front of Qiao Anhao, leaving her standing there in a daze. Her expression was somewhat stunned, but from the bottom of her heart, she knew Lu Jinian was in a bad mood. Thinking back to everything that had just happened, Qiao Anhao was certain that she hadn't done anything wrong. She turned her head and looked over at the cheerful and laughing crowd. Then she looked at Zhou Wanli and Han Rushu, who smiled politely, standing hand in hand. Suddenly a thought came to her mind. Two children, who are both from the Xiao family. One is unconscious, and yet he receives such blessings, whereas the other has to endure old age and abandonment. After his mother passed away, no one even remembered his birthday. Lu Jinian stood in the cramped cubicle with scattered emotions. He lit up a cigarette. In the past few years, he'd gotten into the habit of smoking wildly when he was in a bad mood or when he missed that woman. In actuality, he didn't like the smell of tobacco. It was a little harsh on the nose, but all these years alone, besides using it to numb his senses, he couldn't think of any other way. There were constantly people coming in and out of the restroom. The sound of other toilets flushing could be constantly heard. Even the sound of men peeing standing up and chatting were heard. Among the chaos, Lu Jinian inhaled the heavy tobacco smoke, working hard to suppress his raging emotions. He knew that he was acting jealous. He knew he was just Xiao Jiamu's replacement, but seeing that her eyes only saw Xiao Jiamu's image, he was still irritated. As it turns out, if you really love someone, jealousy is an innate instinct. The more you love, the more sensitive you are. It isn't something you can control.